What's up, everybody? Allison here. Today I wanted to talk to you all about a tip that you can implement to move through discomfort and challenging thoughts, emotions, and states with more ease. So this is the practice of turning towards versus turning away. When we're experiencing discomfort or a challenging thought form that keeps on popping into our head, it's really trying to get our attention. And we're programmed in our society to shut it down. Our brain labels things as right, wrong, good, bad. And if something keeps coming up and it's uncomfortable to sit with, we're so prone to just shaming it, judging it, and we think that if we shame and judge ourselves enough, it'll just go away. But as you've probably experienced, that doesn't work. It keeps spiraling and circling in our consciousness, making us feel less and less powerful or good about ourselves or in control. So this is a practice that can help you transmute that energy, because all of these uncomfortable thought forms, they're simply information from you, for you, about you, intended to support you, not intended to punish you. And if we can reframe our perspective as, what is this trying to tell me? Then we create the space for it to not only go away, but we alchemize it. It becomes wisdom that we can integrate. It's trying to serve you if we can just turn a kind ear its way and take the seat of the neutral observer. So anytime that we experience this uncomfortable thought and our first instinct is to self-shame, self-blame, self-project anxiety, or otherwise self-directed attempts at control of our experience, this is just going to breed inner resistance. And anything that we resist persists. So to let go of that resistance means turning towards it, creating the space for that message and that wisdom to come through, and not be so quick to label the discomfort as bad or wrong. We can ask ourselves, how could this be serving me? What is this trying to tell me? So when we turn towards these uncomfortable things, they become clues that can help us shape our experience for the better. For example, if we are having a reoccurring thought about, somebody in our life, or a fear, let's use the example of a fear. Fear can be a really useful energy if we listen to the wisdom in it and turn it into an action item. Fear doesn't have to be a sign to shut down or stop moving forward or think that we are bad or wrong for experiencing fear. Fear is a very useful tool that if we turn towards it and listen to it, we can integrate that knowledge and literally fix the fear. It's just trying to tell you something. Afraid that you're going to be too clingy in your relationship? Well, listen to that. Maybe it can inform new behavior patterns. Afraid that you're going to blow all your money once you get your paycheck? Listen to it. Turn towards it. Use that to create an actionable plan to not blow all your money. And then you settle the fear in your mind and you regain a sense of empowerment through tackling it head on instead of just letting the fear spiral out and judging, shaming, and blaming yourself for having the fear in the first place. So essentially, all of these uncomfortable thought forms, they can be clues. They can be clues when we listen to them with a sense of neutrality and a sense of openness, and to not be so overly identified with our thoughts. That's another trap that people find themselves in, is they feel as though they are their thoughts. And so if they're feeling something that doesn't fit in the box of their self-concept, they're like, no, this is wrong. I don't want to be the person who's afraid of this, or I don't want to be the person that's anxious or stressed out about this. It's okay. It is all just information. There is no need to overly identify with it. Take some space. You are not your thoughts, but you can listen to your thoughts because they are there to serve you and tell you things. They just don't need to be running the show. We can assume that higher level awareness, the seat of the neutral observer, and listen. So another area that people come into conflict with this with is outsourcing the interpretation of these uncomfortable thought forms to other sources or other people. So let's say, like, you can't stop thinking about your ex, for example. There's no need to go Google or YouTube a whole bunch of different tarot readings or go hire a psychic or something like that, because while these things can be useful, especially in the process of exercising that self-mastery muscle, regaining that sense of trust in ourselves, again, these are all practices and striving towards. Ultimately, what we want to do is trust our own internal guidance source. You are the one that is the closest to the problem. You are the only one that has all of the details, and you're the only one who, it's your experience. So you are therefore the best equipped person to interpret these clues and integrate the wisdom. So when we're outsourcing the interpretation to call a friend or hire a psychic or search for clues on the internet external from our own experience, we're really only muddying up the clue. And depending on how many times it's been interpreted, it might be completely indistinguishable by the time everybody else is done with it, projecting their own lenses onto it and their own distortions and interpretations. You're the one that knows. And that's ultimately what everything I try to teach is about, is really honing back in to your place of power, connecting with your inner state of self-mastery, and gaining access to this empowered life. Because through the integration of this wisdom bit embedded in the discomforts, we regain empowerment, we regain self-mastery, we are exercising our muscles in these departments. So yeah, it's so important that we interpret our own clues. And when we do so, we feel so much better about ourselves on the other side. They can really fuel streamlining forward progress in our life in the right direction. But when we disintegrate, when we turn away, when we shame, blame, and judge ourselves, that's how these issues get stuck. That's what lends ourselves to the spiraling out. We feel completely out of control and at mercy, and we're so much more likely to outsource the interpretation of these clues to other sources. So I invite you to try this practice, to come back home to you, your own inner wisdom, your own knowing, because it's in there. It's in there. It's a practice, and it takes dedication, it takes awareness, and it takes ultimately meeting yourself with an attitude of gentle, loving patience. And the more and more we do this, the more and more we can sit in that seat of the neutral observer with ease. So thank you. I hope this helps, and see you next time.